2-minute warning. What's up, crew? Thank you for tuning in again to another night of Football Fury. I'm Josh, joined by my special co-host, Timothy. Tonight, we're going to bring some topics such as the Giants, Dallas. We're going to get into the Patriots. We're going to overall talk about, who might be the best in the NFL currently, type of power rankings, who's at the top of the mountain. So, Tim, let's get into it. I know we got probably some good things to get off of our chest for our team solely. I'll start off with the enemy before I get into my own woes and tears over here. It was a shocker. If anybody watched our Thursday show, I did end up picking Dallas. I thought they would be able to control the clock. I was very surprised at how that defensive line came together for Denver so quickly in my eyes. I didn't see them penetrating the O-line with such force, and it seems with such ease all game. Von Miller was looking like he was, again, another candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, albeit it's just week 2, but him and Justin Houston are already on my radar for top 2. Those two motors are just nonstop, freaking Pennzoil. I don't know what they're doing, but those boys are eating. As far as panic for Dallas, it's really hard to tell where they were because they faced an inept Giants team, which is where they got their first victory, and then they come and face an AFC team in the Broncos where you think Simeon is still going to have his troubles, but he goes off for 4 touchdowns. So it kind of makes you sit back and think, is Dallas going to have to switch up their game a bit? I don't think it's room for panic yet. When we got 3 Pro Bowlers on that offensive line, I mean, you look at most offensive lines around the league, most are lucky just to have 1 on that line. So when you have 3 and you consider how young some of those guys are, there's going to be room for growing. There's going to be some pains in there. There might be a slight distraction with Ezekiel. But overall, it's way too early to throw in the towel on the Cowboys, especially when I just said it's one in the trenches. And when you have the O-line that they have, there's absolutely no room for panic just yet. If they can kill the TOP, time of possession in games, they're going to be just fine. Moving down to my blue squad. There's some things to be talked about here. I don't think you could really put the blame all on just one person. Some want to say Reese. Some want to say McAdoo. A lot of people are here throwing Eli under the bus. Our receivers can't catch anything. And our defense is getting too tired to even stay on the field right now. I think there's equal blame that can go around all parts of the organization right now. I think the only person you really can't put too much blame on right now is Odell, who is trying his heart out, probably at 85% right now, and I would say Sterling Shepard. Aside from that, the offensive line looks putrid. Eric Flowers still looks lost. I think his confidence is kind of leaving him, shaking his head every play or every sack that he lets up. The running backs are inept. Eli doesn't look like he can get comfortable and in a rhythm, so therefore he's just throwing wild passes. And when he actually does make accurate passes, a la the Marshall sideline pass and the Deep Adams ball, those get dropped. So what does that do to a quarterback in his head? And the defense, good as usual, but when you're on the field for so long, there's not much you can do. You don't have infinite stamina, so you're not going to be able to win games by yourself like you were last year. I don't know how this offense suddenly got worse than it was last year, especially with the same offensive line. But Ben McAdoo, horrible play calling, especially when you could see daily in practice what you have. It's pretty absurd. Reese also gets blamed because he didn't address the offensive line for Jack. He just said, yeah, you know what? We can have all these holes on the offensive line, and then we'll just get these little weapons, because weapons solve everything in the NFL today. We can have a great defense, and we'll just have weapons. These weapons are going to open up our passing game. Weapons. So that's all I have to say about the Giants, Tim. I had them pegged at 9-7, maybe 10-6, based off some, I would say, some good confidence going into the offseason. But at this point, I wouldn't be surprised at 7-9, 6-10.
Oh, I share your pain because not only did you have a crazy Sunday watching your a crazy week 2 watching your team go down the way they did. I also share that pain. Excuse me 1 second, Josh. It's my sinus is bothering me. Excuse me 1 second.
I had a great Monday myself, to be honest. I had a great Monday.
Cataracts. So excuse me. I gotta take it back. Okay, so here's the thing. Man, my eyes. I was hearing this whole week about this great run game. The Denver Broncos 28th against the run. 7 attempts. That was it. It was so bad that when the rain, I cheered for the rain delay. When the rain delay came, I said, rain delay. Let's please. I hope they get cramps. The other team gets cramps on their legs. They don't want to play. They don't want to play no more because you know when the rain falls, all of a sudden you just go in a bad mood. You don't want to do anything. So I was hoping the Denver Broncos would feel that way. Instead, it was in a great mood. They came in there and they whipped that ass. And it was we wasn't tackling. We barely. I mean, listen, I'm gonna give credit to Lyle Collins. Any Cowboy fan who's blaming him for the Von Miller, he had Von Miller pretty much on lock until the last quarter with his 2 sacks. Now, mind you, Von Miller has it in 5 games hasn't recorded a sack, so he recorded 2. Dak Prescott, okay, he kept on fighting. I'm not mad at him. Denver got the best secondary in the league. I think the best secondary in the league, the best total overall defense in the league. Simeon, I apologize for messing up your name all the time on this show. I always mess up your name. After that whipping, I'm gonna say your name correctly from now on. Simeon.
You better.
You got that right.
He deserves respect.
Yeah, I have to give him his respect because he looked like John Elway out there. The way our defense was playing. Hey, Garrett. We drafted three cornerbacks. We drafted Marquez White, Jordan Lewis, Chidobe Awuzie. All right. Nolan Carroll. I know the injury, two head injuries. But it's time. I mean, listen, these little slants was killing him. No more. We don't get him out. Get him out of there. Jalen Smith doing a great job. You are a rookie this year. I can't listen. He's leading the league. He's leading the team in tackles. Sean Lee finally got some help. I mean, the wrong running back. Ezekiel Elliott is supposed to be the best running back on the field, and it was C.J. Anderson that day. It was just totally. It was bad. The secondary is young. My God, we got some retooling to do in that secondary this week. Don't get me wrong. I always say this. Sometimes when you take a nice ass whooping, the good teams always come out and move forward. So I'm not going to panic. We're playing Arizona next week, Monday night. I'm pretty sure hopefully it will be a better game, even though it's their first home opener. Stadium, but hopefully. Going to the Giants now, I'm going to say this. Cowboy fan, I was excited.
It was wonderful.
Listen, I enjoyed it because the offensive line from what we all been saying, and credit to James Cooper, who is our other host. He was the one who said it when Brandon Marshall got signed. Don't make a big deal because you got to protect Eli Manning. And, for any Giant fan to blame only Eli, you're crazy. McAdoo, I'm sorry. You're blaming Eli Manning. You and Jerry Reese were the ones who said that the team doesn't need an offensive line. And please do not say that if Eli was mobile, he can escape that. I mean, not even Seattle's offensive line is as bad as the Giants. No disrespect, Shim. So right there was an issue. Listen, it's put blame on the whole offense, period. Listen, Odell Beckham Jr., listen, the man got hard. He wanted to play, but the way he was running his routes, you can tell the man's not 100%. Don't put him out there. Leave Roger Lewis out there. You leave Ingram out there. Brandon Marshall, do you still work for the NFL Showtime? Because you're playing for the New York Giants. That pass that Eli Manning threw to you, was it footsteps or was it age? Because my God, that was crazy. You dropped an important pass. Blame should go all around. But McAdoo, I'm sorry. I've lost respect for the man because you only singled out Eli Manning. And I'm sorry, the man brought in 2 championships here. Haircut.
Can I talk my shit now? Can I do that?
Dula, before you do, let me be a gentleman real quick, Dula. And hold on. I have to congratulate you. I have to actually give props to the Detroit Lions because looking at this Detroit Lions team this year, they're actually a little better than they were last year due to the fact that not the receivers, but the running game. Detroit has never had a balanced attack on offense, and that's what they showed yesterday. So all the props of the world to the Detroit Lions, because if this offense keeps up and Abdullah can keep running like that, they're going to go to the playoffs. Dula, I hate you.
All right. I mean, I'm not going to take too much time. There's a lot to talk about in the NFL and all, but my takeaway from the game was, it's funny, I know you mentioned James Cooper there, Spoonie. James Cooper also said, he wasn't worried about this game because the Detroit Lions haven't ever been shit in the grand scheme of things. Well, that's funny because they just beat your ass last night. That's amazing. Stole something. But more or less about the game. I mean, look, you take away the punt return touchdown on the 17-10. Not as if they were getting blown out, but it felt like it, right? And I think it felt like it because Detroit, thing Dallas did, they held on to the ball. I think after the first half, I think they held on to the ball 20 minutes of the first half. That's hard to compete with when you got that long. And when the offense does get on the field, they get the turnover, they give the ball right back to Detroit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did we lose him? Internet connection?
I think he was so excited. Computer froze. Ladies and gentlemen, Bella will be back. I think the computer. He's excited. The computer's excited. Everybody's excited. That's going on. Shem, it was crazy. I mean, here's the thing. Do you feel it's over? Do you feel the season is going down the drain for the Giants? Is already there?
I mean, if you have any ounce of optimism in you as a Giants fan, the only point that you're looking at about this game and remaining optimistic is that we probably played the shittiest football you can possibly play probably in the NFL, and somehow we were still in it up until like the late third, beginning of the fourth quarter, which is amazing with how awful they looked like a junior varsity team. They looked like the little Giants. So that's really the only grain of positivity I can really take from that awful game. But as Dula is making his way back in here, and I'll let him continue. I was going to say it was really great tackling on behalf of the Lions too. If you watch the game, usually the Giants and the Lions are kind of similar in that defensive area where the tackles are highly missed, and that's what kills them is the yak. But last night, big props to Jared Davis too in the middle as a rookie. He was killing it out there last night, and the Lions were just making their tackles, man. That was key. The tackling, they were just wrapping up, and they were making the Giants work for the yak, which they really weren't getting after the catch. So props to them. They looked really sound, and I watch out for Jim Bob Cooter because he's studying that run game and he's going to implement it soon. He's a passing type of guy, but once he gets that running scheme down in his playbook, there'll be good money. Dula, welcome back.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, my internet's going in and out. I guess the internet's excited as well, but I wouldn't panic yet for the Giants. You got a long season. You got 14 games left to quote unquote right the ship. Yeah, Eric Flowers got abused by Ziggy Ansah. There's no way to put three. When you have 3 sacks, you're getting abused. And
style. Yeah,
and in the NFL. It was like, on the other hand, Greg Robinson committed like 5 penalties. So I guess in terms of left tackles, both teams were even in terms of ineptness. But the big takeaway was Stafford only threw for 122 yards, but that's not a lot. You know, you're used to him throwing for 500 yards in a game. But at the end of the day, a win's a win. So I'm happy the Lions got a win. They get Atlanta next week at home. That's a test. But, you know, you want to get the wins when you can. But, you know, it's only been 2 weeks. I wouldn't should panic or look too much into it. I just wonder for, you know, Bob McAdoo, like, I think he should give him those play calling duties and just focus on, you know, being the coach of the team. And Eli Manning, for someone that's been in this offense for a few years, he doesn't look that comfortable in it, you know?
That's another thing I was thinking to myself, but I never really presented the question to anybody in our group or myself as a friend or anything like that. I was thinking to myself at work today, Ben McAdoo came over to implement his own style of offense. It's like a revised WCO in, I guess, McAdoo's version. So if he comes over and we're all about him being the head coach, implementing his own offense, his version, whatever it is, and now there's these reports coming out about should he hand over the play calling back to Mike Sullivan, who was the OC beforehand. I don't know if that's ever going to happen because isn't there some sort of like egotistical factor with Ben McAdoo? Like, this is the reason you brought me over. If you don't want my playbook, then shit, I'll just leave. You know, I don't need to be over here. You guys hired me for my playbook. I'm the coach, so I'm going to continue playing calls. That's just what it seems like to me. It seems like there's a bit of arrogance about him, somewhat.
Right.
I don't think that's ever going to change, unfortunately. And most likely we are going to ride out the season with him if painstakingly, if it is going to be a downhill race for us. But yeah, if anything, I think he honestly retains the play calling throughout the whole damn season, even if it gets as bad as it can get. And if anything, we just can him at the end of the season. But I don't think there's any shot of him handing over it's an ego thing. It's the reason he was hired. So,
well, in my opinion, listen, I remember Jason Garrett when he was a coordinator with Wade Phillips.
Right.
Then once he got fired, he became the head coach and hired an offensive coordinator because you want to look at both sides of the team. You want to be involved in what everybody's doing. So when it comes to the Giants, you have Spags back there as a defensive coordinator. So I wouldn't say it's a panic switch McAdoo from where he's at. And
well, Spags is good on the D side, but we've all seen Spags when he gets his head coaching opportunity. Right. You could argue that he didn't have the personnel as a head coach, but still, his track record really isn't there, you know, as a head.
Spags a hell of a coach. I would never say, you know, he wasn't with the Rams. I mean, different situation. But he's a proven winner with the defensive side of the ball. The problem is that every new coach and when they first coach in the team, they want their type of quarterback. We all know that Eli Manning does not fit this type of system. So I'm going to point to the boss, which is Mara. Because here's the thing. Okay, if the Manning, they won. But now, when the question was asked, can you coach this team with Eli Manning as your quarterback? What was the answer? Because Jerry Reese, you said the offensive line is cool. But there was talk saying that McAdoo thinks the offensive line is good. Now, when you look at this system is run the same way Green Bay runs their system, like Aaron Rodgers. So, Mara, Reese, and McAdoo, I'm pretty sure it was either you coach this team the way it is, because McAdoo, this is the second time in a row he's putting the blame on Eli Manning solely. Didn't he say the offensive line? Didn't he say anybody else? He said Eli Manning. Now, I'm going to say this. It's not over yet because the Dallas Cowboys easily, we could lose against Monday night against the Cardinals. We have the Eagles playing the Giants next week. Now I'm going to say this, Della. The Cowboys had 3 sacks on their offensive line. Your lines have 5. The next 3 teams is at Philadelphia for the Giants, at Philadelphia, at Tampa Bay, home against the Chargers. Those three teams have great defense, great defensive line that I believe is better than the Cowboys or Detroit Lions. So at Philadelphia, and they go 0-3, I think sparks are going to fly at Giants Stadium in that Giants office. Something's going to change big.
Well, I mean, no, I totally understand where you're going with that. Here's the thing. I mean, you talked about Green Bay, right? There was a time where Mike McCarthy gave up the play calling duties and gave it to his offensive coordinator, Tom Clements, I believe. It's a matter for the sake of the team. The question is it about your ego or are you trying to win? Because, frankly, if you win, everything about your ego is solved, right? If you're winning games, you can strut around and do whatever you want. That's why Tom Coughlin was around as long as he was. He kept winning. He won championships. Do whatever you want. Or is it about preserving your ego and ultimately losing and ultimately getting fired? Because that's one thing about the NFL. It's not for long. So unless you're Marvin Lewis, but even he's facing the end of his leash there. But it's not for long league. So especially for a guy who this is his first head coaching gig, and you gotta run a system that's friendly to your quarterback. If you talk about Matt Stafford, he put up a ton of numbers in terms of passing yards, touchdowns, but he threw a lot of picks and made a lot of bad decisions until Jim Bob Cooter came around and he got into a offense and a rhythm that he was comfortable with. And now he's actually playing like a much better quarterback. He's playing like a number 1 overall pick, right? Same thing with Eli Manning. So, they just got to get on the same page. I don't know what that's going to mean. I think this calling out in the media stuff's got to stop, especially since this guy's a vet and has, had success in New York. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to dwell on it too much, but crap, man. I mean, you're hitting a crossroads here. I know if Odell Beckham was 100%, that would have been a different game last night. I'm not saying they would have won. It would have been a different dynamic.
I agree. All right, let's move on. We're done with the Cowboys and Giants. Hopefully next week we'll see improvement on both sides, Shim. Hopefully, let's see when we do our picks this week. Let's move on to the next topic. All right, so who is the threat to the New England Patriots in the AFC?
Not Ben.
Now, I know I put a lot of heat. Yes, I know. Salud. I know I caught a lot of heat when it came down to me seeing the Denver Broncos. Now we have the Raiders out there who look awesome. You cannot lie. Beast Mode, he's back. He's doing what he's doing. Not only that, I love what he did on the field, Shim, when he was it brought you have the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got young on defense. The offense is dynamic. Can't front. Le'Veon Bell's getting his carries in. We seen that last week. The Broncos, they beat the favorite Cowboys. Simeon looking out like, wow. He looked amazing. The Miami Dolphins with Jay Cutler, they won a close one at San Diego. And I told everybody in 2MW4, watch Jay Cutler and the Miami Dolphins be a team to watch out for. So with that, I'm going to say the Oakland Raiders are the best team right now in the AFC, only because of the excitement is that team. When you have that excitement, that pump, it makes a team feel immortal, like you can't be touched. And now they're not only beating teams, I mean they're killing them, they're blowing them out. And I understand it's the Tennessee Titans and the New York Jets, but when you could put up 35 or more points, that shows that what a good team can do. The energy is very high with the Raiders. And as a I like the Steelers. I like the Broncos. But the difference is between the Raiders and those two teams. With the Broncos, we got to see if Simeon can put on more performance for what he did against the Cowboys. When it comes to the Steelers, in my view, that defense. I mean, Minnesota Vikings almost came back to win that game, and it was a last minute of sitting on Sam Bradford. So I'm like, they should have even came close to them. I'm picking the Oakland Raiders as the LA Raiders as that AFC team, a threat to the New England Patriots.
Yo, that was like the most Sam Bradford thing ever. Was the guy has like a career game, and all of a sudden he has some undisclosed injury to where all of a sudden he's sitting out now.
Well, the guy Diggs on
Sam Bradford, gonna Sam Bradford, man. That was hilarious. I was dying Sunday afternoon. Ah, man.
Shout out to Cueto.
Quite a few good teams out here still undefeated, though, at a measly 2-0. Like you said, you got the Steelers and Ravens in the North, but I'm not ready to crown either of those two teams yet. I do like the Ravens defense, but that offense, it's still kind of like average, mediocre in my eyes.
Right.
I mean, the biggest play they had was, what was it, Macklin going deep, and yeah, that kind of seemed like it was blown coverage. So I'm going to hold off on that. I do like the whole AFC West right now is the best division in football, hands down. I mean, you got to be blind and stupid not to agree with that. Just before we tackle that division, because they are overall the best, the Lions we just talked about, Falcons and Panthers playing great football in the South. The Panthers only allowing 6 points so far in 2 games, albeit the 49ers and Bills, but, still, you got to give credit where credit is due in the NFL as far as, not allowing too many points. So 6, that's pretty damn stellar. And then the next closest with the 2 games is the Ravens, 10 points allowed in 2 games. The Bucs looked good in their 1 games. You can't give them credit for the 2 yet, obviously, with that week off. But, man, dude, they got some ballers on both sides of the ball in Tampa. If we're going to talk about the best overall team right now, I'm picking one of those teams out of the AFC West, and the team that I'm going with, shoot, man, I'm probably going to have to say the Chiefs right now over the Raiders. There's just something about that Chiefs team where it just seems like they can strike with any 3-4 weapons they have on that offense. The Raiders, you got Crabtree, Cooper, and Lynch too. The Chiefs, you can put knack on Alex Smith because he's not the type of quarterback to go more than 20 yards, where you could argue Derek Carr is light years above Alex Smith. The Raiders, their defense is coming together now, which is nice to see with Gary Conley, and Carl Joseph is now coming into the hitter he was at West Virginia. There's just something in me that just if those two teams were to square off, I feel like the Chiefs just have a little bit of the upper hand on the Raiders. Eric Berry was a big loss, but I'm going to let that play out. With Simeon and the Broncos, he had a stellar game, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, and it looks like he's doing great, but they've only played at home so far in both games. So I want to see how Simeon and that team reacts on the road. Could they be another, Drew Brees at home, and that's where their kryptonite is? I think so.
Right.
So I want to see them play on the road first. So right now I'm putting Chiefs 1, Raiders 2. I could be totally, that could totally get flip-flopped on me, and we could just see the Chiefs fizzle out while the Raiders just storm on. So, Raiders fans, don't prosecute me yet. I'm still giving you a shot here, but right now my gut feeling is going with the Chiefs as the best in the AFC right now. And I would say they got the biggest threat to the Patriots, as we've seen.
Funny. All right, no. In terms of the biggest threat in the AFC to the Patriots, honestly, I think every team in the AFC West, sans the LA Chargers, is a pretty big threat.
Yeah.
I think so. Spoonie said the Raiders here. I know it pained him to say the Raiders. Shim, you're going with the Chiefs. I actually think the Broncos are the biggest threat to them right now. More or less because we saw that they were able to shut down the league's best running game.
Yeah, that D-line. That's a good point.
with them last season was they were soft up the middle. You could run on them all day. You
Right,
couldn't
right.
throw on them, but you could run on them. Well, from the looks of it, you can't run on them either. When they really crank that pressure up. And on offense, they get CJ Anderson going. You see what that does. And Trevor Siemian is starting to step out of this game manager role and being more so of a big boy quarterback who's going to win games. He's going to make throws and win games.
Right.
That does not bode well for Paxton Lynch. I don't think he's going to see the field this season at all, barring an injury. But I think because of that and the pedigree they have, listen, this team is not that far removed from a Super Bowl victory. What is it? They're what, 2 seasons removed? Because Peyton Manning retired 2 years ago? Yeah, so they're not that far off. Between the Chiefs and the Raiders, they've had the most sustained success over the years, right? So between the pedigree and the defense, start the Tom Brady and company. Steelers have a shot. Raiders have a very good shot. Chiefs have a very good shot. If Miami and Jay Cutler can manage to, get comfortable with each other quickly, I think they may have a shot. But I think Denver has the best shot right now.
Let me add on this, because my difference with when I look at the Raiders, and we got to match the Raiders offense versus the Broncos defense. Okay, now we're talking about Amari Cooper. We're talking about Crabtree. Okay, we got Seth Rogers, Cordell Patterson. Them boys got some weapons. Jared Cook. Broncos corner, I'm sorry. They have the best secondary in the league. The no-fly zone. I mean, Chris Harris, Roby, and Aqib to the lead. Listen, those guys are awesome back there. Trust and believe. And it's just, what it is? The energy from the Raiders. That energy with Beast Mode and Derek Carr. My God. I mean, it's like the energy for what the black hole was is back. And that's a scary thing. Now, you know what? I can't say because the Broncos beat my Cowboys, the Broncos I'm going to crown them or something like that, because, anybody could get beaten any day. But when it comes to a team like the Chiefs, who beat the Patriots, when we saw Tom Brady back there versus the Saints, he doesn't look comfortable when he sees that rush. I know he threw 3 touchdowns, but he doesn't seem comfortable at all. I mean, the Saints have no defense. That team is not the same as the old Saints, but my God, you can see that Brady is rattled. So when I look at the Raiders, man, and another thing with the Chiefs that kills me. Now, Della, you're the draft guru. You're the draft guru here.
Okay.
The man was drafted by the Cowboys in the 7th round. He played for Chicago Bears. How is he a starter on the Chiefs, on the secondary? How? My God. His last name stands for how much yards you're going to gain on him. That's a bad thing, bad combination in that Chief. Now, especially when they have no Eric Berry there. So all you have is Peterson. And the other guys is, whew, it's forget about it. You can score on them. On top of that, who's your other wide receiver besides Tyreek Hill? It can't be Kelsey. One target in the Chiefs if you're playing in the AFC. You need to have some receivers. So this is why I have a problem with the Chiefs. The Steelers. You barely beat the Browns. You barely beat Minnesota without Sam Bradford. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. But listen, we all know it's not the Jets, right?
Ooh. Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Oh, not yet. They got a home opener this week. If Miami don't beat the Jets, we got to get them off the list. We got to get them off the list. But yeah, listen, I think I know Shim, you said that the Chiefs. I'm sticking with the Raiders. Who's the best team in the NFC to the Falcons? Who right now is a threat to the Falcons?
Falcons. I'm trying to look over the teams that, I very well think the Buccaneers could take a couple from both games from the Falcons, the way they played in their debut. They were balling out, man. Like I said, I was raving about them on both sides of the ball. The Bucs just look stellar. Other than the Bucs, I could argue.
You want me to go first?
You know what? Yeah. I mean,
I'm gonna give it to you right now. My Dallas Cowboys. Listen. Listen. We had one bad game. We had one bad game, and I'm sorry. Listen, when you look at Seattle Seahawks, everybody's a Seahawks fan, right? Everybody, Seattle with their defense, and 12-9 against the 49ers. When you got problems against the 49ers, my God. Let's go on to the Detroit Lions. I love Matthew Stafford. I am a big Stafford fan. I'm a big Stafford fan. I know y'all 2-0, Della. I know you don't look at me like that, Della. I see you looking at me with my eyes. Don't look at me like that, man. But my Cowboys are better than Detroit. Okay, the Arizona Cardinals, David Johnson is out for the year. They're going to be done. Minnesota Vikings, all right, they already announcing Teddy Bridgewater to come back mid-season. That's a problem. They're done. The Green Bay Packers.
Who's announcing he's coming back mid-season? What are you talking about?
Oh, you didn't get the news?
There's no news on Teddy Bridgewater. He's thrown one pass in the past 2 years.
But I'm saying when they announced that, it's a problem because right now it should be Sam Bradford.
Are you saying they announced it, or are you saying they're going to announce it?
No, they announced it last Sunday.
Who announced it?
Will be mid-season form. I'm just sharing.
Get out of here.
I'm just sharing.
Garbage.
So I look at the NFC, the Philadelphia Eagles. Mike Carson Wentz they should have beaten the Chiefs. Put that football away. The Redskins. Look what's going on with the Redskins. They can't. How many passes? What's Terrell Pryor? Didn't we say he wants to be the next big thing? What is he? Another thing. My Dallas Cowboys, all we did was made a couple of mistakes here and there. He's not feeling well with all this core situation, but Jerry's told him to relax. Next Monday night, we're going to go to Arizona. We're going to show the world why this team, and we're going to annihilate the Arizona Cardinals and be the best team in the NFC looking at the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, and respect to Dallas Detroit Lions, they will be in that playoffs. Those are the best team in the NFC, a threat to the Atlanta Falcons.
I don't see many teams being a threat to the Falcons. This is why when we did our what is this? Hold on a second. Get out of here. I had Atlanta with 4 losses. I don't see them getting their first loss potentially maybe until week 9. I had them losing at Carolina. Then they win in week 10 Dallas, lose at Seattle potentially. And then I'll say week 15 and 16 they could potentially lose because it's at Tampa Bay. And then they're at New Orleans. So besides that on their schedule, I could easily see them beat, they can beat Detroit. They got a W with Buffalo after that. They got one to bye. Then they got Miami. They go at New England, which will be a beautiful rematch because I'm sure they'll just hand them their ass again and not blow the lead this time. At New York Jets, at Carolina, Dallas, at Seattle, Tampa Bay, Minnesota, New Orleans. So 12-4, I had them pegged at. They could even be 13-3, 14-2. Looking at their schedule now. I'm sorry. There's really Dallas just got ran on by Von Miller, Derek Wolfe, and whoever else is on that D-line. And you're trying to tell me that they're still going to be a threat to the best team in the NFC currently? Tim. Come on, Tim.
Listen, we lost.
Did you see Dak Prescott's accuracy when he had time? This is why he went in the 4th round, Tim. He's a control quarterback. He's kind of like RG3. You know, he's good for the slants, the little dinks and dunks. But when he tries to go deep, Dez Bryant miss over the head, out in the sideline. I thought he was going to do the Allen Robinson thing back to him like, yo, bro, throw to me inbounds. Damn, bro. I almost heard the soundbite coming. I was like, ooh, he's going to say something.
I know you didn't. You want to talk about Dez Bryant. You talking about Dez Bryant? Wait. All of a sudden, Twinkle told Odell want to come out and play. And yeah, how many? 4 catches for 36 yards?
Isn't that more than what Dez has done healthy? I'm just saying, Tim.
Dez had a touchdown. Dez had a pretty darn good game. He had one bad drop. I recall Odell had a bad drop as well. And, wait a second now. Manning should snap from his knees. He should right now go on his knees, snap the ball, because the minute the rush come, that's where he's going. How's the Giants got 8
You guys are supposed to control the clock, and you guys are 19th in the league in rushing yards?
2 weeks though?
How are you? How are you 19th in rushing yards with that O-line, Tim?
Hey, listen.
You got 3 Pro Bowlers, man.
Last night's rushing was more than the Giants had all year in 2 weeks.
What, 8 yards? That's a lie. We're averaging 4.2 yards a carry with how sad we are running the ball.
Oh, because you're running the ball in garbage time.
What garbage time do we have? We've never had a lead, Tim. What garbage time is there for us?
I'm talking about the team putting their backup in. That's what it was. Hey, you gave us 3 sacks. 3 sacks on our line. 3 sacks. That's not the problem. Well, go ahead. Look, Dulla's watching because he's ready to let it out. A solid one. Go ahead, Della.
No, I'm just listening. You guys are hilarious. If there was a team that is a threat to, I think it's all situational. If the Falcons had to go to Green Bay, I think that would be a different story. As long as they get to play in that dome down there, everything's cool. Everything's copacetic. They'll just throw all over you, right? But I really think Atlanta's one of those teams where if they have to go outside in January, late January, it's going to be a problem. So in that regard, I would say Green Bay is a threat, although they have shellacked them already. That was at home, though, opening night, their stadium, et cetera, et cetera. I think if it's playoff time and they're in Green Bay, whole different story.
Yeah, I want to see how Carolina holds up. I mean, great defense looking so far, but like I said, they haven't really had an offensive juggernaut really to square off and test them.
Because Shem is Cam Newton. I mean, let's keep this real. I mean, he just had shoulder surgery. He's not well. Listen, he had a touchdown on Chris McCaffrey. You know what got me mad? I got on my fantasy, man. I needed Chris McCaffrey. Cam, why could you not connect on a 5-yard out to Christian McCaffrey? Are you crazy? You hurt my fantasy number. That's more important to me, Cam Newton. I mean, here's the thing.
He's not worried about your fantasy team. He's worried about dyeing his beard and going to Poetry Slam night.
Should be worried about my fantasy. But here's the thing. Cam Newton is not healthy. You can tell. It's whether his shoulder or his knee. Now Greg Olsen is out for like another 8 weeks. So who's going to step in now? Who's going to step in now? Kelvin Benjamin? He hasn't done much.
He's in his 3rd trimester. You see that gun, that boy?
Gonna step in for Cam. Who's gonna be that weapon? Curtis Samuel. I've heard Dollar, the draft guru. You had told us about Curtis Samuel, Ohio State. When is he gonna play? I mean,
I'm not sure. I mean,
we looking at Laquan Treadwell here?
No, I thought him and Christian McCaffrey were the same type of player. You know, I thought they were both hybrid receiver, running back, slot receiver types. Surprised I haven't seen the field yet.
Wow. I mean, listen, it's beyond. We hear this talk about how Cam got all these new weapons, but it's like he doesn't look right. He doesn't look right. He doesn't look healthy. Now that Olsen is not there, who's going to step up? and be that target person. I mean, Russell Shepard, a guy that I don't know if you guys heard of him. He was probably the quickest bright spot they had when they scored a touchdown, wide open by himself. So you know this is hard. Now you have the Saints coming to town. God forbid Carolina goes into a shootout. You know, me and Shin we'll talk about that Thursday when we do our pick'ems. But that's gonna be something crazy with that team. I understand it's 2 weeks into football, but it's a lot of injuries piling up, and get your whole team for the long haul to do anything. Let's bring up the Colts. I mean, or Jacksonville. Ladies and gentlemen, we have news, breaking news. 2MW Fury is reporting Colin Kaepernick states he wants to play football. Which one of you teams are going to do the right thing for the team, for the W, and not for personal, likes? I mean, my God, the Colts. See that with the Arizona Cardinals, Jacoby, and I feel bad for Jacoby Brissett. You know why? He's going to be one of those guys. But before I start, I'm going to say, Chris Carter made a good point. He said a lot of these quarterbacks are system quarterbacks, meaning you play at. Depending where you play at and what system you play for, you might flourish. If you play for a bad team and a bad organization, you're going to ruin your career. Nobody will ever take a chance on you. So I look at the Colts. And this man had just got traded from the Patriots. It's second year with New England, about a 4th, 5th round draft pick. And he's now starting over over Tolzien, who was there for like 4 or 5 years, and he stunk it up the joint. So now this guy's gonna pay for it because he doesn't know the system right away. He hasn't got acclimated to his players. But what's gonna happen, Shim? You're gonna have the media saying Jacoby Brissett, Jacoby this, Jacoby Brissett that. You mean to tell me that Colin Kaepernick is not worth to bring in as a vet? Until this young man, or stand behind him to make sure he got it or he don't. If not, hey, Colin, take over. Jacksonville. Oh, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, y'all wishing that defensive talent. Jacksonville Jaguars right now is probably the best team you play on Madden. The best team you play on Madden. But when you're using Blake Bortles and Chad Henne in real life, they stink. Do you not see Jalen Ramsey's attitude? He's pissed. This is a guy who played in Florida State who probably never lost a game, maybe 1 or 2 games. When you go from college or championship team and you winning games, you come here, you mean to tell me our quarterbacks can't throw the freaking ball? They can't do anything? You got all the receivers, this nice running back, but you can't connect on a pass. Wait, Colin Kaepernick sitting out there and you won't sign him. Wow. If I'm the coach, and if I'm Jacksonville, I'm not protesting the flag. I'm protesting the owners. I'm gonna go on one knee. Only the franchise players, please do it because you guys are paid. You ain't paid. They cut you. You're gonna get paid regardless. All the top guys go on one knee. I'm protesting. What am I here for? Besides, I want to win too.
So what's the main question here for Kaepernick? Is it does he deserve a tryout? Are we just commenting on him or?
Shit, he wants to play. The man wants to play.
That's awesome. But my question is, it's September 19th. Why is this the first damn time we've heard him personally say he wants to play football? Why? He's always in the media. Why couldn't he have just made a tape saying, I love being a humanitarian. I love being, explaining people's rights. But at the same time, I still want to play in the NFL. He can't do that? What's wrong, Colin?
Well,
why was his agent always talking for him? His agent. It's always his agent. Well, Colin, you got such a big voice, big boy. Do you still want to play or not?
It's September 19th. Yeah, you know what? I'm ready. I'm still in good shape. Let's do this. Who needs me?
At this point, who really does need you? Some teams are struggling. Some teams are going through their woes. The Colts, my God, I don't even know what's going on in their locker room. Jim Irsay could be drinking in the locker room straight in front of him, tell him Andrew Luck doesn't give a about you guys anymore. And then you want to bring in Colin, who I'm not sure how the 53 are going to take Colin. The 25 may be like, all right, Colin, yeah, bro, let's do this. And there may be the other, what is it? My math is off. 22, whatever, that are just like, yo, this guy, what a bitch. You know, he didn't blah, blah, disrespect, blah, 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 blah. Not everyone's going to have the same views, Tim. You got 53 people plus coaches, assistants, personnel. Not all of you are going to be on the same exact page when it comes to viewing somebody in the light that they probably should be viewed in. Everyone has a different upbringing. Everyone has different values and personal angles in which they view things. Some people think kneeling for the flag was a slap in the face to all the community members and the veterans, and that's what the NFL really does. It's the military. And then you're going to have everyone, the activists that come out and say blah, blah, blah. The NFL didn't even pay attention to the military until like 2000 when the Department of Secretary of Defense started, you know, paying the NFL millions to establish this shit, blah, blah, blah. And then you have the people that are like, well, he has the right to kneel because this is why our people are dying on the front lines. So he has that freedom to express his freedom of speech. I just listed 3 different angles within like 15 seconds. Again, you're not going to have everybody that's looking at this in the same light. You could have the businessman, you could have the patriot, and then you could have the humanitarian. And then there's more angles to even look at this at. But if you want to talk about Kaepernick being on a team, the Colts, no. Why would he wouldn't even fit on the Colts because he'd be running for his life. He would probably be inaccurate on the run. And whenever he did have success, he had a great offensive line, which was in San Fran, backed by a great defensive front in San Fran. And then when that left, he was benched for Blaine Gabbert. People are like, I don't.
I mean, listen,
I don't get it, Tim.
It's
like,
not fiction.
Yes, he's probably better than one of the 64 employed right now.
But here's my thing, Shim. Before I say, I'm gonna say one thing. When you was talking, you was doing your shoulder thing right there. You was giving a little Stevie Wonder soul right there. I have to give that to you. All right, that's the first thing.
Shout out to Jalen Ramsey.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay, the Colts are a playoff team. This is a playoff team. You go in there, you knew Andrew Luck was having an issue. You knew he would be out up to October, maybe beginning of November.
It under wraps, Tim. Everyone thought, potentially he might play week 1 or just be out week 1. Week 2, come back.
Okay, so wait a minute. So we're saying, so what we're saying is that they didn't know the severity of the injury.
Mm-hmm.
I know doctors. Though I'm not a doctor, but I know one thing. A doctor will say, appears to be 4 to 5, 7 to 8 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks. The coach knew. The Indianapolis coach knew. You know why they knew? Because what they did was they took Luck off the pup list. As you go up to week 7, they took him off the list to escape being asked why not Cap. Tozine comes in here, sticks up the joint. After 1 game, your backup gets benched. For Jacoby Brissett. Now, and Chip, I agree with you as far as playbook. I believe when it comes to a coach, if you want a player you used to have in your team, it's not what you know, it's who you know. I understand the familiarity. I understand all that. But in this case here, Tozine stunk it up. I don't know how you got. If he got an NFL job, you can get one. When it comes to Jacoby Brissett, he doesn't know the playbook. He knows 1 week of the playbook more than Cap. That's my thing. Now with Jacksonville, I'm just saying with Jacksonville, if Bortles is that bad, put Chad Henne. Now I understand what's his name was signed. Ryan Nassib. Everybody went crazy, and of course, better than Ryan Nassib. But I'm gonna say this.
Massive.
I'm gonna stand my ground. I'm gonna stand my ground. I always go with the familiar stuff. If Tom Coughlin drafted the seed, he had Ryan the seed. He knows him, so he's going with what he's comfortable with. If that's your excuse, I'm gonna roll with it because that's been going on for years without anybody saying it's a personal choice or because you hate somebody. But when you go, as far as the coach, Tozin, purely garbage. Brissett doesn't know the playbook at all. To me, that's a hole and that's a problem. That's a hole and that's a problem. And you know, if I'm what you call it, T.Y. Hilton, who busted his butt all day, and you know, I'm telling you, listen, what are we doing here? Are we trying to tank the season? The thing, Shim, I will say this. If you want to interview a guy and you want to find out if he wants to play, understand if people are puzzled. But my thing is this: if you really want somebody, you go get him. If you just curious, or I don't know about it, but if he didn't say anything, I'm a fallback. All right, fine. But if you really want that person, I'm gonna get him. Say this, not the jinx. If my Cowboys, if something happened to Dak, God forbid, and we going with Kellen Moore, and Kellen Moore stinks it up, and we got Cooper Rush there. We try Cooper Rush. If Cooper Rush shows you something, you stay with it. If not, do the right thing. Call Colin. A team out there should call. If you have a quarterback issue and a playoff team surrounding him, they can surround a quarterback, call. Stop it.
All right, so Trisha, she's asking on the wall, we don't ask any other player before the season if they want to play. Why is that necessary? He dedicated his life to football. You want to double check now? That's disrespectful. That is so often. You know it. His whole life, he didn't just pick up a football as a hobby. It takes work to get there. Okay, Trisha, I can see your angle, where you're coming from with that. We can also talk about people having just talent as they're born. He also had a career in baseball. He easily could have been drafted in the first round for baseball. But not really getting into all that. The reason I say he should have mentioned something is because the last that we saw of Kaepernick on an NFL platform was basically the focus was on him. It wasn't about him playing. It was just about him making his stance known on an NFL sideline. And then from there, he wasn't on the roster, and then he just started doing his activism stuff. Nothing wrong with that. But if I'm an owner, if I'm one of the 32 and I'm having millions spending on players that are trying to dedicate themselves to my organization, the organization that I run, that is my agency, my business, my life, my livelihood, I want to make sure every person on that 53-man roster is playing their hearts out and they're dedicated to this organization and they're 100% committed. If I'm an owner and I see Colin is out there doing his thing, that's awesome for him. But I just don't feel like his interest is really solely in football anymore. I feel like he's found his new knack and things that he enjoys doing now. Now, if he was really still interested in football, that's why he should have mentioned it, because to the public eye, he's being uploaded on Twitter, on Huffington Post, on Instagram with these rappers, with these actors, actresses. Everybody is tagging with Kaepernick. There's thousands of posts with Kaepernick. He's at these clinics, gyms, giving back to the community, which is awesome. But if I see that, I'm thinking to myself, all right, well, he looks like he's phasing out of the football career kind of thing. So, good for him, but I'm going to look elsewhere. I want someone that's bleeding to be on that gridiron, and that's dedicating their time right now to working out football, schematics, playbook reading, whatever it may be, just to get better every single day. Yes, people do have hobbies, Trisha, absolutely. But do those hobbies really come to the time where you should be studying and working for the organization? And most of the time, I do. There was an argument earlier on the wall where somebody was like, "That's BS, dude," because people the players wouldn't have time to do all these signings and scheduled programs or charities. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. But also, that organization is making those players do those certain things. So obviously they have time. If the organization is making time for that player to do that certain charity giveaway, whatever it is, how many times do you honestly see a player on their own free will and time do these type of things? Not very many. It's like JJ Watt and maybe a couple others out there, you know, that do stuff on their own time. It's not many at all. It's all organization influenced to make it the public eye look like the Shield is this great entity. That's exactly what it is.
No, you know what, Shim? In that aspect, I agree with you. What you're saying, as far as because I remember with Terrell Owens.
One more thing. I just wanted to finish Trisha's thing. She said Kevin Durant has a restaurant and plays basketball. Should be worried that he can't make a jump shot and wants to flip a pancake. That's totally separate. That's an investment, Trisha. He probably steps foot in that restaurant once a month. And if you really want to talk about it, restaurants are one of the biggest money pits for athletes. So that's probably a bad thing that he invested in. So, but yeah, that's an investment, Trisha. That's not really a hobby per se.
When it's football and basketball, and not to bring the NBA into it, the NBA got more free time to do a lot of different things. Their own charity. In the NFL, you don't really have any time. The things that you do for the NFL, some things are scheduled. They're very scheduled. For instance, Des Bryant, we need you to go visit the hospital. We need to go do this, go X, Y, and Z. I still believe if an owner wants Colin Kaepernick there, they can always ask if they really want him. But what I disagree with Trisha at is that some players have in the past just requested they want to play. I'll give you an example, Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens set up his own his own combines out there for every team to look at. He invited all 32 teams, 32 teams at the time, to go see him work out, run the routes, do X, Y, and Z. And in that aspect, the Seattle Seahawks gave him a free tryout during the preseason games. He did okay. They showed that he was an OTO, but at the same time, if an owner wants you, he gonna come after you. But at the same time, I can understand where you're coming from, Shem. If people are saying you don't want to play, and there's rumors, and this is media, we all know media are the biggest, powerful people in between the lines. If they say, well, he doesn't want to play X, Y, and Z, well, here's the thing. In my opinion, somebody's not doing the job. And if I'm Colin Kaepernick, I am going to my agent, and I'm questioning my agent. And I says, listen, I want to know, sir, are you contacting every team, let them know that I want to play?
Right.
Why am I hearing I don't want to play? You're supposed to be my mouthpiece. Whatever I say comes out of your mouth. I don't need to go on video to tell them, per se. But you're supposed to go on every team and say, hey, listen, my client wants to try out or perform. I mean, I'm just saying, what's the norm? A player, he doesn't have to have a video, but like Terrell Owens, not Howie Rose, but I forgot his agent's name. But he emailed every team. Scouts come out to watch him at his own combine. And what happened was he got signed. So, it's all I'm saying is this. We don't know what was said, what's the plan, how he feels, any particulars. But the one thing that I'm going to stick with now, he had told Chris Carter, he had told another Shannon Sharp, another gentleman, he wants to play. And I think it's not even though it's not coming from his agent's mouth right now, it's coming from highly known Hall of Fame players who got their own shows. That's enough for a team to come out and say right now, hey, we have a problem. Do you mind trying out? Especially if you're trying to save your team's season at this point. We all know it's week 2, but I'm sorry. The way the Colts are going is going down the hill, and Jacksonville Jaguars, that team is giving up. And Tom Coughlin, I'm sorry. Listen, do the right thing. I really got to do the right thing.
Yep.
If this guy,
my bad, I didn't mean to cut you off, Tim.
No, go ahead, question.
I was just gonna say this is just my personal opinion of where I'm coming from with Cap. I mean, this guy is so social media heavy. He's on Twitter every single day. He's probably on IG too. He's constantly retweeting stuff every single day. And I'm sure he looks at his mentions. How could you not? The athletes are always looking at their mentions, whether they reply or not. But I mean, just look, 5 hours ago, he's on every single day. 8 hours, 18th. This is the 16th, on the 18th, on the 18th, the 17th, the 17th, the 17th, the 17th, the 17th. 16, 16, 16. I'm sure he's getting tweets daily like Kaepernick, yo, you're awesome. You're the man. But are you still playing football? Kaepernick, yo, you're the best. I miss you. When are you coming back? Kaepernick, do you still have an interest in playing football at all? Hey, Cap, you're awesome. I really loved you in San Fran. Are you ever going to come back and play? I really don't see anything that says he wants to play football up until September 19th. We're almost at week 3 of the NFL season. That's just where I'm coming from. If he was really interested, if I had a passion for something like this, I would almost be tweeting every single day. I still want to play in the NFL, but I'm going to do what I'm still doing. There's just something to that effect. If you have the passion, it's going to come out naturally. You're not just going to keep it built inside and just tell your agent, yeah, I guess you could tell him I'm still interested. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, let's go with that. Dude.
But okay.
Words speak, words walk the walk. Come on, give us something.
All right, Shane, but here's another thing too. And don't get me wrong. I know for what he's doing. I mean, it's amazing. Me and you have both talked about it. What he's doing on the outside, it's amazing. And what I love about it is that not only is he preaching, he's doing it. You know, you have some people who go out there and they'll talk the talk but don't walk the walk. He's doing it every single day and trying to improve our community, and God bless him. But my whole thing is this, is that, and again, if somebody really wants him, I don't think that he needs to, tweet it out there. Because if you're curious just for a workout, that's all you need to do is bring him in for a workout. Hey, can you run this play? Can you do that? Hey, listen, TY, go out for a pass. Can Cap throw the ball? My thing is this. I'm going to keep it real. Okay, if you want somebody, you go get them. Now, and again, I bring up the Terrell Owens situation. The only difference between Terrell Owens and Colin Kaepernick, Terrell Owens was about 35, 36, away from football for like at least a year and a half. Kaepernick is only a season away. He didn't put the retirement in. So putting the retirement in will say, I'm not playing no more. I don't want to play no more. He didn't press that retirement button yet. So anybody who's not retired, I mean, my God, what's his name? From the Minnesota, from the Baltimore Ravens, the quarterback. I forgot the practice squad's name. He was bagging groceries. He didn't have to do a Twitter show, anything on Twitter saying, hey, what happened? Harbaugh wanted him for camp body. He came in. So my whole thing is this: anybody, if you want them or you believe, here's the thing: if you don't want, Chip Kelly came out and said, Colin Kaepernick was a great teammate. He no distraction, no nothing. He was awesome in the locker room. He did what he had to do. Okay, all he did was took a stand. And mind you, what's so disgusting? I know we all watching football. The national anthem being played on TV. Mm-hmm. Only in the Super Bowl we seen it. That was it. Never really for a regular game. It was done because the media wanted a story with Colin. Colin standing for what he stand up for. But the thing is this: what I respect about it is that he never let his outside interfere with his job. Now, at the end of the season, by him saying to himself, I'm not protesting no more. I did what I've done. I'm doing what I do in my community at my time. He will dedicate to football. I mean, my only thing was with the whole situation was, and I remember us, Fog, Meg, Trisha, we all was going back and forth. I just said, well, listen, I don't think just because a player it's February or March is over with. My whole thing is sometimes you have to wait for a situation to occur. I think 2 situations occurred. The Colts in Jacksonville, very bad, very, very bad. Those are two situations that you just cannot just overlook and say, well, they have this guy, they have that guy. They throwing away a good team away just to keep a good a quarterback that's probably could do a little bit better than what they have on the roster for personal reasons. And the Colton Jackson should be ashamed of himself. If I'm those players, I'm marching to that owner, to them owner's office and say, listen, this is how we're gonna run things. I'm here busting my ass to do what? Even though I'm getting paid millions of dollars, you're paying me to dedicate to football. But what about to the team? Team winning me anything to you, or just because you are like a player?
Trisha wanted to ask you something as well. Trisha says,
what does Trisha want?
Ask Timothy why asking him to say he wants to play football is disrespectful.
Say that again.
I believe Kaepernick. Why asking Kaepernick? Sorry, Trisha, if I got this wrong, please, revise your comments so I can understand it a little bit better. But ask Timothy on air why asking him to say he wants to play football is disrespectful. Ask him for my opinion.
Well, again, it's like I said before. In this case right here, he's not retired. If you're not retired, that means you want to play football. My whole thing is when the news people were all saying that he may not want to play, he's dedicating his life to other things other than football. Okay, this is me. I'm not saying it has to be Colin. If I'm a player and I'm hearing rumors that, Tim doesn't want to play football, say something, or I might have my agent, clarify this for me. I might do that. But my whole thing is this, that punch me, I didn't press that retirement button. You don't need to ask. First of all, I give another example. Pete Carroll called Colin Kaepernick. If Colin Kaepernick didn't want to play football no more, he wouldn't have gone to that interview. I declined the interview. That to me is more of saying, hey, I don't want to play no more. Or you're going to think I don't want to play. I went to an interview. I spoke with John Harbaugh over the summer about football. Those were two things that was said, me including football with it. So he's here. I think that's evidence that you don't need to you don't need him to say, I want to play football. He wants to. And it's out right now. We're going on week 3. Jacksonville's doing terrible, and so is the Colts. I'm sorry. Now it's no excuse with who knows Jacksonville got a new head coach over there, Shim. A new head coach in 4 months. 4 months worth of knowing the playbook is not so crazy that Cap can't be there. Jacoby Brissett's been there 2 weeks more than Cap. 2 weeks of the playbook is not that crazy. Either one of those two teams.
All right. I like it. And let me see. Trisha said, she said it's all good. We'll square it away later. I'm sure we'll be arguing Cap all season. We can save it.
I'm not doing it. Hey, Trisha.
She said ask Tim for Trisha's opinion. So I'm like, wait, does Tim have Trisha's opinion? Do you have her opinion in writing? Does she have a message available? Maybe she wants you to say something on
Hold on. You know how Trisha.
Yeah, she's sneaky. So I don't know her. She's very sneaky. This is what CEOs do. They work. They work under.
For anybody who doesn't know Trisha, Andrew, she is the boss that runs the place. Mm-hmm. We work here. That's her thing.
We're two of the stores, basically. I'm dopey. He's sleepy.
Yeah. This is why we work with Miss Trisha Andrews, the
best. All right, though. I think that's going to wrap it up. So, yeah, Trisha, like she said, we'll probably be tackling Cap a little bit more as the weeks progress. And, hey, maybe even the dialogue is going to get spicier. So, folks, thank you for tuning in again to another Tuesday night of Football Fury. Joined, as always, by my co-host, Tim Spoonie. So, Join us Thursday night at I think what are we doing? We're doing 6 p.m.
Oh, we're doing 6 p.m. on Thursday. We're gonna have an
6.
NFL Week 3 pick'em.
Amazing, good stuff. Yeah, so join us for the mini helmet collisions. Good times. We're gonna be making our 100% guaranteed, no doubts about it, picks for Week 3 on Thursday at 6 p.m. See you then, knuckleheads. Have a good one. Pew, pew, pew.